Bones of upper limbs composition: shoulder girdle, clavicle, scapula, bones of free upper limb, humerus in arm, radius and ulna in forearm, carpal, metacarpal and phalanges in hand. I want to describe first of all clavicle. This is the S shape bone, medially two-third convex, forward and laterally one-third convex and backward. External end medially, acromial end laterally. This is the anterior border of this bone. This can called collarbone. This is the most important bone in which one sports person bent down and pressed his elbow on earth and pressure transferred to the shoulder, and this is the main point of this bone can fracture. External end is a medially, acromial end is lateral side. This is the acromial process. This is the external end. This is connected with sternum and this is with acromial process. This makes acromial process coracobrachialis of scapula and also a part of humerus. This makes shoulder joint and this can be called collarbone. Next bone is the scapula. This is the costal part of the scapula. Three borders: superior coracoid process, superior notch. This is the superior notch. Lateral maxillary border, medial vertebral border. This is the lateral border and medial border. This is the vertebral or medial border. Three angles: superior opposite to the second rib. This is the superior angle. This is inferior angle opposite to the seventh rib of the seventh intercostal space. Laterally, glenoid cavity. This is the glenoid cavity. Two surfaces: anterior surface concave, anterior surface concave, suprascapular fossa, posterior surface supra and infra spinous fossae, spine of scapula, and this is acromion. This is the acromion. This is the posterior part. In this humerus and clavicle are attached and make shoulder joint. Here three muscles are attached. These are the elevator muscles or three major muscles: latissimus dorsi, teres major and teres minor, and in inner part latissimus dorsi. This can move upward and downward and facilitate these muscles for the movement of this bone. Next is humerus. It has two ends: upper end, head of the humerus, anatomical. This is the anatomical surgical neck, greater and lesser tubercles. This is the greater tubercle and this is the lesser tubercle. Tubercle crest of the greater and lesser tubercles. Intertubercular groove. This is the intertubular groove. This is surgical neck. There is the surgical neck in this bone, shaft deltoid, tuberosity on lateral part, surface, and a groove for the radial nerve, and a groove is here for nerve, lower end, lateral and medial, epicondyles, capitulum and trachea, coracoid fossa and radial fossa. Anteriorly olecranon process, olecranon fossa, posteriorly sulcus for ulnar nerve. Posteriorly sulcus for ulnar nerve. Now we can discuss the radius. It has upper end, head of the radius, and this is the neck of the radius, radial tuberosity. This is radial tuberosity and articular circumference, shaft intrusius border. This is attached with intrusius border, lower end having styloid process, laterally ulnar notch, medially, and carpal articular surface inferiorly. This is situated in forearm and outside at the side of thumb, with ulna it makes forearm, upper end of the ulna, olecranon process, coracoid process, trochlear notch, radial notch, ulnar tuberosity. This is the ulnar tuberosity, radial notch, lower end styloid process, head of the ulna. After that, proximal end, proximal row, lateral or medial scaphoid, lunate, triquetral and pisiform bones, distal row, lateral or medial trapezius, trapezoid, capitate and hamate, metacarpal bones numbered 1 to 5 from thumb to little finger, structure of each base proximally, shaft, head and distally, fingers of phalanges of the fingers, consist of 14, 2 for first digit thumb and 3 for each other for 4 digits, 3 digits in every finger and 2 digits in thumb. Structure of each base proximally, shaft, trachea and phalanges distally. Tuberosity of distal phalanges are present. Bones of lower limb. Bones of upper limb composition: pelvic girdle, hip bone, bone of free lower limb, femur in thigh, patella, tibia and fibula in leg, tarsal, metatarsal, phalanges of 2 in foot, hip bone. This is hip bone consists of 3 fused bones, ilium, ischium and pubis. This is the pubic rami, ilium, ischium and this is the pubis. Ilium, body of the ilium to form the superior 2/5 of the acetabulum. 2/5 part of this acetabulum forms the ilium. Ala of ilium, iliac crest, anterior superior iliac spine, anterior superior iliac spine, anterior inferior iliac spine, anterior inferior iliac spine, tubercle of the iliac crest, tubercle of the iliac crest, this is the tubercle of the iliac crest, posterior inferior iliac spine, posterior inferior iliac spine, greater sciatic notch. Here is the greater sciatic notch. Gluteal surface, this is the gluteal surface of the body. Iliac fossa, this is iliac fossa. Arcuate line articulate the surface, iliac tuberosity. Body of the ischium to form the posterior and inferior to 2 to 5 of the acetabulum, ischial spine, lesser ischial notch, ramus of the ischium. This is the ramus of the ischial tuberosity. This is the pubis symphysis, body of the pubis. This is body of the pubis to form the anterior and inferior 1/3 of the acetabulum. Oleopubic eminence, this is the oleopubic eminence. Superior ramus of the pubis, pecten of the pubis, pubic tubercle, pubic crest, symphysis surface, inferior ramus of the pubis. Acetabulum formed by the body of the ischium, ilium and pubis. This is the acetabular form by bodies of the ischium, ilium and pubis. Lunate surface at acetabular surface, acetabular notch. Thank you. This is the bone of leg. This is major bone in the lower limb known as femur. This is the upper end of this bone. This is the head of femur, fovea or femoral head. Neck, this is the neck of the femur, and this is the neck of femur, and this neck of the greater trocar, lesser trochanter, intertrochanteric line. This is the intertrochanteric line in which both trochanters, intertrochanteric crest, and this is the intertrochanteric crest, and this is the shaft, linea aspera, gluteal tubercles, pectineal line, popliteal surface. This is the linea aspera, popliteal surface, lower end, and this is the lower end of this bone. Medial and lateral condyles. This is the medial condyle and this is the lateral condyle. Epicondyles, abductor tubercles, intercondylar fossa. This is the intercondylar fossa, patellar surface, and anteriorly this is the patellar surface. Patella is situated at this site, and This make knee joint. In the knee joint, anterior part is the disc-like part known as patella. In case of fracture of the neck of the femur, patient lied on bed or surface, any surface on earth, and he or she contract his leg relaxedly, and fracture side will be open and upper side, and he complains the pain and not having or not attending that arm. This is the cervical neck, most probably chance of the cervical notch of this femoral neck fracture. This is not cervical neck, this is the fracture of femoral neck. Next bone is the tibia. This is the another long bone called tibia, and this is the anterior part of the tibia and upper end, two facets for descending of the femur. This movements is here with synovial fluid. This makes knee joint, and anteriorly patella is present here to facilitate these movements. Upper end, medial and lateral condyles. There are medial and lateral condyles, intercondylar eminences. This is the intercondylar eminence, fibular articular surface, tuberosity of the tibia. This is shaft, and this is the antrusius or sharp border or soleal lines. The lower end of this bone, in which fibular notch and this is the medial malleolus. This is the posterior side of this bone. We can show this the more regular posterior side of this bone, and with this bone, supporting bone is the fibula. Upper end of fibula head. This is the upper end of fibula of the head, neck of the fibula, shaft of this fibula, intrusius border, lower end the lateral malleolus. This is the lateral malleolus, and triangular sesamoid bone of patella. Is descend just in front in this side. Tarsal bones consist of 7 short bones arranged in 3 rows. Posterior row talus, calcaneus, navicular bone. Posterior row tarsal, calcaneus. Intermediate row navicular bones. Anterior row medial bones. Intermediate and lateral bones. Cuneiform cuboid bones. Metatarsal bones consist of 5 elongated bones numerate 1 to 5 medial to lateral, structure of each base proximally, shaft and head distally in each. Phalanges of 2 consist of 14, 2 for first toe, helix and 3 of each of the other 4 toe. Surface of landmarks, trachea of talus, calcaneus tuberosity, tuberosity of navicular bone and tuberosity of fifth metatarsal bone. Now I want to describe osteology of skull. Skull is divided into two parts: neurocranium, which forms a protective case of vault around the brain; viscerocranium, which forms the anterior part of the skull, including the orbit, nasal cavity, and upper lower jaws. Neurocranium is the upper part, which forms the protective case of vault around the brain. Viscerocranium, which forms the anterior part of the skull, including orbits, nasal cavities. These are the nasal cavities, and upper and lower jaws of the bones. Upper and lower jaws here are situated, upper and lower jaws of the bones. This can be called viscerocranium. In the skull, in front side is the frontal bone, and in this side, which is in this direction, both bones are connected. This is called coronal suture, and this is the parietal bone, and this is occipital bone, and here is temporal bone, and here sphenoid bone. This is the sphenoid bone. Backward the eye of orbit of the eye. If we can see in front of this lacrimal bone is situated here, zygomatic bone is present here, and this is the nasal conchae. This is vomer bone in the lower side, mandible, teeth, and this is the maxillae. These are the foramen of maxillae, and this is nasal bone. Squamous flat portion of the forms the skeleton of the forehead. Squamous portion of forehead. This is glabelli, navision. This is the orbital portion. Frontal bone forms the roof of the orbit. Frontal bone forms the roof of the orbit. Nasion is an area where the frontal bone of the intercepts with the nasal bone. This is the nasal bone. Glabella, smooth, slightly depressed area located just superior to nasion. Just superior to nasion. Supraorbital margins marks the boundary between the squamous and orbital portions. Supraorbital notch or foramen is for the passages of the supraorbital nerve and vessels. A prominent large just superior to the supraorbital margin is the superior ciliary arch, more pronounced in males. Zygomatic process of the frontal bone articulate with the zygomatic bone. Checked bones form a portion of its lateral walls of the orbit. Frontal process of the zygomatic bones articulate with the frontal bones. Temporal bones process, this is the temporal side. Temporal bone of the zygomatic bones articulate with the temporal bones. Zygomaticofacial foramen. Zygomaticofacial foramen, small foramen for passage of zygomaticofacial nerve. This is the zygomaticofacial foramen. We can see this is the slightly sharp point foramen, which is zygomaticofacial foramen, a small foramen for passage of the zygomatic nerves. Forms of upper jaw. Alveolar process of the maxilla includes the socket and supporting bone of the maxillary teeth. This portion is situated in this area, which is not absent here. This is not present here. Alveolar process of the maxillae includes the socket and supporting bone of the maxillary teeth. Maxillae form the floor of the orbit. These maxillae form the orbit. Maxillae form the floor of the orbit. Large intraorbital foramen for process of the intraorbital nerves and vessels. Surrounds most of the pear-shaped pyriform aperture. Frontal processes of maxillae articulates the frontal bone. Zygomatic processes of maxillae articulates with zygomatic bones. This is the zygomatic bone. Intermaxillary suture. Intermaxillary suture is absent here. Site where the two maxillae are united in the median plane. Seen within the pyriform aperture are the scrawled middle nasal conchae. This is the middle nasal conchae. Vomer bone along with the perpendicular plate of the ethmoid bone, which together form the bony nasal septum. This is the bony nasal septum, which together form the bony nasal septum, where can also be identified with the pyriform aperture. U-shaped bone of the alveolar process that houses the mandibular teeth, and mental foramen. This is mental foramen is below the lower teeth and inferior to the second premolar for the passage of the mental nerve and vessels. Mental protuberance, a triangular elevation of bone that forms the prominences of the chin. This is the prominences of the chin. Mental tubercle is located just lateral to the tuberance. Body is the horizontal portion. Ramus is the ventral portion. Now let us start lateral aspect of the skull. Lateral aspects means this is the lateral side of the skull. Here are different bones, but with sutures we can explain. This is the parietal bone. This is parietal bone, and in this area frontal bone, and this part is occipital bone. This is occipital bone. Let us start lateral aspect of skull. First of all, we know the temporal bone. Temporal bone is situated in this area. This is the temporal bone, and in this area, this is the frontal bone, and third, in this part, this is the occipital bone. This is the suture separated with other bone. This landmark of the occipital bone. Temporal bone. Here is the temporal bone, which area covered in this irregular margins suture called temporal bone. Number 5 is sphenoid bone. Sphenoid bone is just to orbit, and this area is situated here, sphenoid bone, and mandible is absent in this structure. Just we can see this is the mandible, and this is the mandibular joints. We see totally in both sides. This is the mandibular bone, and this is the zygomatic bone. This area is of zygomatic bone, and above the upper teeth, the bone is called maxillary bone, and in orbital fossa, lacrimal bone. In this orbital fossa, lacrimal bone is situated. This is also irregular, and this is nose type bone, which make human nose. This called nasal bone. Paired bones that form the lateral and superior cranium temporal links marks the attachment site of the temporalis muscles and fascia. Articulate with the frontal bone via coronal section, coronal suture. Articulate with the occipital bone via lambdoid suture. Here is the lambdoid suture. This the lambdoid suture named just in figure of lambda. This is lambdoid suture, and in this area coronal suture. Tarion sites where 4 cranial bones articulate important clinical implications. Paired bones that form the inferior lateral aspect of the skull. Temporal bone is described as having a flat squamous portion and a mastoid process, site of attachment of several muscles, zygomatic arch. And this is the zygomatic arch, mastoid process, squamous portion. This is the squamous portion. External acoustic meatus. ear canal and the pointed styloid process are considered to be located the tympanic portion of the temporal bone. We can see the temporal bone. This is temporal bone. In this area, mastoid ear canal, pointed styloid process are considered to be located tympanic portion of the temporal bone. The styloid process serves the attachment sites for the several muscles and styloid ligaments. Mandible and a portion of zygomatic arch removed in this weave. Located on the inferior aspect of the arch is a small bony structure, articulate tubercle, that is important in the mechanics of TMJ. Mandibular fossa deeps recess that aspect that the condyle of the mandible, also important region of the MTJ. Forms major portion of the cheek. Temporal process that articulate with the zygomatic arch, frontal process that articulate with the frontal bone, zygomaticofacial foramen. This is zygomaticofacial foramen, a small foramen generally visible, forms the posterior aspect of the skull. This is the posterior aspect of the skull, articulate with the parietal bone via the lambdoid suture. This is situated lambdoid suture just like shape of lambda. Prominent palpable elevation located posteriorly is the external occipital protuberance. This is the external occipital protuberance. This is situated back side of the head. Sphenoid bones, irregular shaped bones that forms a portion of orbit of the lateral aspect of the skull and portion of the cranial base, and this is the cranial base. A sphenoid can be divided into four. This sphenoid is divided into four: greater wing, lesser wing, and pterygoid process, and four is body. Some portions of the sphenoid can only be seen inside the cranial cavity. Portion of zygomatic arch and mandible removed in this weave. Greater wing articulate with the temporal, parietal and frontal bones of the pterion. Pterygoid process are two thin plates of bone that serve as attachment sites for muscles. Pterygoid humulus, a small hook of bone extended from the medial pterygoid plate. Tensor villi palatini tendon courses around this. Maxillae. Portion of zygomatic arch and mandible removes in this weave. Posterior aspect of the maxillae is referred to as tuberosity of maxillae. A small alveolar foramen for posterior superior alveolar nerve and vessels. A small alveolar foramen for posterior superior alveolar nerve and vessels. Pterygomaxillary fissure, tear drops shaped fissure between the sphenoid and tuberosity of the maxillae. Pterygopalatine fossa is a small but important space located medial to the fissure. Lateral aspect of the skull. Nasal bone can also identified as it articulates with the frontal bone and maxillae. Lacrimal bone. This is the laser bone, nasal bone. Nasal bone can also identified as it articulates with the frontal bone of the maxilla. Lacrimal bone, which houses the lacrimal sac. Lacrimal bone, which houses the lacrimal sac, when be identified with the orbit. This is in orbit. Prominent interior nasal spine at the inferior aspect of the pyriform aperture. This is the pyriform aperture of the orbit. Condylar process is located at the superior part of the ramus and involved in the articulate to the mandible with the temporal bone. Coronoid process is located just anterior and serve the attachment site of the temporalis muscle. Coronoid process is located just anterior and serves the attachment site for the temporalis muscles. Angle of mandible is between the ramus and body. Mandible. This is the mandible in both sides. In front this is united, and this is the mental foramen, and there in lower jaw it makes jaw. This is the lower jaw, and there are teeth, 16 teeth in lower side and 16 teeth in upper maxillae. Mandible structure is a regular structure which contains teeth and make mandibular joint. Claviera. Emissary foramen smalls consist not always present foramen for passage of emissary veins. Bregma is the landmark formed by the intersection of the sagittal and coronal sutures. Bregma is situated in covered bone of head and situated in, this is the coronal section, coronal suture, and this is the sagittal suture. In this middle point of the sagittal and coronal suture, a bregma is formed in initial age of human body or in children's. This is this light cavity type for deformity or incomplete formation. This gap is known as bregma. Lambda is the landmark formed by the intersection of the sagittal and lambital sutures. Lambda is here in posterior side. This is also a just cavity-like portion in initial stage, 5 to 10 age. It is observed in that suture. This is called the lambda, is the landmark formed by the intersection of the sagittal and lambital suture. Inferior aspect of skull cap presents several features. This is the lower aspect. There is absent inferior aspect. Inferior aspect of skull can present several features: vascular grooves for branches of middle meningeal artery, granular foveolae, pits formed by arachnoid granulation, site of CSF transfer, groove for superior sagittal sinus, large venous channel with the dura and diplocancellous bone containing red marrow. Now we can discuss the skull of infant. Superior aspect, lateral aspect. In the skull of an infant, some irregular or immature or ungrowth formations can be seen. We can see the bone forming the clavira and some parts of the cranium base developed by the intramembranous ossification, whereas the most part of the cranial base developed by the endochondral ossification. Bones in the infant skulls are separated by areas of the fibrous tissue membranes. The fontanelle, this is the fontanelle, anterior fontanelle, and these are the posterior fontanelles. Mastoid, see the mastoid, and this is the portion called sphenoidal process. Bones forming anterior fontanelle, soft spot in the future site of the brygma. Anterior fontanelle are both side, and in the back side brygma is seen just like a space, just like a coin. By about 8 to 24 months, the surrounding bones fuse together and is no longer palpable. Posterior fontanelle is triangular and marks the future site of the lambda. Fusion of surrounding bones occurs by about 12 months. Mastoid and sphenoid fontanelles fuse early in infancy. Palpation of fontanelles during the infancy and enable physical to determine number 1 growth progress of the frontal and parietal bones. Number 2 degree of hydration of the infant. A depressed fontanelle indicates dehydration. Clinically, we can see the dehydration or hydration with the help of this area palpation. This is known as brygma. Brygma will be depressed in dehydrated patients, and brygma is well prominent in hydrated patients. This is the clinical symptom. Level of intracranial pressure, bulging fontanelle indicates the increased pressure on brain. Let us start osteology. External aspect of cranial base. Cranial base is that portion in inner area or inferior aspect of the skull presents 6 different bones, palatine processes. This is the palatine process of the maxilla. Number 2 palatine bones. Number 3 sphenoid bones, and number 4 vomer bones. This is the vomer bones. And number 5 temporal part. Number 6 occipital. This area is occipital part of this weave. Numerous foramina can also be identified in this section. Hard palate is formed by the palatine processes of the maxilla and horizontal plates of the palatine bone. A small prominence projected posteriorly for the hard palate in the median part is the posterior nasal spine. This is the posterior nasal spine, palatine bone, palatine process of the maxilla. Hard palate is formed by the palatine process of the maxillae and the horizontal plates of the horizontal plane plates, palatine bone. Small process projected posteriorly from the hard palate. In the median plane is posterior nasal spine. This is the anterior nasal spine and this is the posterior nasal spine. Posterior to the central incisor is a small depression, incision force with a pair of canals, incisive canals for the passage of nasopalatine nerves. Posterolateral are the greater and lesser palatine foramen for passages of the nerves and vessels of the same name. Incisive fossa and incisive canal is that fossa. Greater and lesser palatine foramen, greater and lesser foramen are here. Vomer thin flat unpaired bone is in the middle that forms a major portion of the body, bony nasal septum. In this area, vomer thin flat unpaired bone in the middle that forms the major portion of the body, nasal septum. On other side of the vomer are two large opening conchae, posterior and nasal aperture. These are the posterior and nasal apertures in posterior side. Three parts of the sphenoid bones can be appreciated to the inferior aspect of skull. Number 1, greater wing, medial pterygoid plate, medial lateral pterygoid plate. This is the lateral pterygoid plate, and pterygoid fossa is between the two pterygoid plates. Pterygoid fossa is between the two pterygoid plates, medial and lateral plates and greater wings. This is the medial pterygoid plate. Foramen ovale, passage of the mandibular division V3 of the trigeminal nerve. Foramen spinosus for passage of the mandible meningeal artery. Groove for pharyngotympanic auditory tubes lies medial to spinosum. Mastoid process, prominences located posteriorly on the temporal bone. Mastoid process located posteriorly to the temporal bone. This is the temporal bone, this is zygomatic, and this is the temporal bone. Mastoid serves as the attachment site for the SCM, posterior belly of the digastric muscles. External acoustic meatus is located just anterior to the mastoid. External acoustic meatus is located just anterior to the mastoid. This is the mastoid. Styloid process, thin bony processes extending in inferior and anterior. Styloid process as the attachment site for the numerous muscles and ligaments. Mandibular fossa, articulate surface that accepts the condyle of the mandible foramen. Two important foramen can be identified on the inferior aspect of the temporal bone. Two important foramen can be defined on the inferior aspect of the temporal bone. These are the two foramens. Styloid mastoid foramen located between the mastoid and styloid process is a small foramen for passage of the facial nerve. Coracoid carotid canal passage for the internal carotid artery into the cranial cavity. Occipital bone forms the posterior and inferior aspect of the skull. Occipital bone forms the posterior and inferior aspect of the skull. Foramen magnum is a large foramen for passage for the spinal cord. Foramen magnum divided the occipital bone into three parts. This foramen is divided into three parts: basilar region. Number one, basilar region. This is basilar region, and condylar region. This is the condylar region, and third is the squamous region. Basilar portion presents a small tubercle, pharyngeal tubercle, for attachment of the pharyngeal construction. Foramen lacerum jagged shaped is located just lateral to the basilar portion, lateral to the basilar portion. Condylar portion presents the occipital condyles that articulate with the atlas. Jugular foramen, large foramen between the occipital and temporal bones for passage of cranial nerves 9, 10 and 11, and the internal jugular vein. Hypoglossal canal for passage of the hypoglossal nerve.